Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestle Talk. We have a great show planned for you guys. We're going to be doing some wrestling according to Wrestle Talk, according to WrestlingIncorporated.com, getting our news and stuff there. And of course, we've got some WrestleMania fallout to go over. So stick around for a great show, and hope you guys are here for Wrestle Talk. Excellent, guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you guys are at. We're dragging that thing down. We're going to be getting that thing out of here. Hope you guys are doing wonderful, wonderful wherever you guys are at. Thank you guys for coming in and being a part of Wrestle Talk, whether you guys are out there following Wrestle Talk with the Rabid Beaver on Spotify, you guys are out there on Audible, you guys are on Podbean, you guys are on Buzzsprout, you guys are following the video style cast that we do for Championship One Wrestling on Streamlabs, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook Live, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you guys for being here directly. So without further ado, we've got a lot to discuss. So first and foremost, let's talk about the big thing, the elephant in the room that nobody has wanted to talk about. Cody Rhodes finished his freaking story. He finally was the man to do it. He lives his family's legacy, gets his life going, and he finishes that story, dude. He wins that World Heavyweight title, that Universal Championship title, the undisputed Universal Championship title. And man, I can't be happier for Cody Rhodes to be able to be that man in that position to do that. I think that it means the world to him. I know if his dad was alive, it would mean the world to his dad, especially his dad being the booker he was, being the wrestling personality was, winning the 10 pounds of gold. Cody has really exceeded and excelled, and he really had to dig deep into himself. There was some years there where we didn't know if he was going to be a main contender, a top contender, or just a little pansy person, basically, to be honest with you. I mean, let's just be real here, because that's what it was going to be taken down to and taken out. But as we found out, man, as we absolutely 100% found out, Cody was able to stay on top of that story, win that story, do his thing, get everything going the way that he needed to get it going, and he finished it out. I mean, he had help from everybody, but good Lord, did the bloodline stay out there and just try to trigger him the whole time that he was there. So first and foremost, congratulations, Cody Rhodes. We have to thank you guys so much. Then, of course, Drew McIntyre wins that title only to lose it by Damian Priest cashing in. What the heck happened there, guys? You guys got to tell me. You guys got to leave it in the notes, the comments below. You guys got to come back through and put it out there. But WrestleMania was something to behold here this year. It was beholden to us. And man, we've got a lot of title changes so far that have taken place, and man, it was just great. So without further ado, we're going to be getting directly into the news. I mean, congratulations, Cody Rhodes. Congratulations, Damian Priest, on your win. Congratulations on the new titles that you guys got, the changes of the belt, the changes of the guard, so to speak, inside the wrestling business. And we wish you well in all your future endeavors, and hope that you all have great title reigns for the future to keep it interesting. So first and foremost, Triple H discusses his 5-year plan for WWE. This is done by Eric Mutter. It's right on the page. It's done April 9th, 2024, 8 a.m. Is when it's done. It says, since he took charge of WWE programming back in July 2022, the following initial retirement of Vince McMahon, WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H has done all he can to put his stamp on the WWE product. As it turns out, his first 2 years in charge have only been the beginning of his vision. Speaking with WWE's Megan Morant, Triple H laid out his 5-year plan for how he sees WWE evolving under his leadership. He said, I want to reinvent all of this, not reinvent it because there's nothing wrong with it. Triple H said, it's not broken, it's not damaged, it's the greatest form of entertainment in the world, right? Question mark. But how do we all take what we love so much and turn it into something even more? Going into WrestleMania next year, I think it's gonna feel like a whole new place, and that's less than a year from now. So 5 years from now, I expect it to be the same heart and soul, but just with a whole new bunch of shit that I can't say on the radio. That's just blowing everybody's mind. While Triple H still has plenty of changes in mind for the WWE over the next half a decade, one thing he hopes doesn't change is the support from the WWE fan base, which he revealed in a brief message to the fans as the interview came to a close. He said, quote, "Keep doing what you're doing," Triple H said. "Tell us what you like, what you don't like. We're listening. For whatever period of time you tune in, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, that you can just forget about the world, forget about everything else going on, and live in this fantasy world of WWE and enjoy every aspect of it, because I know I do." Those were the end quotes from Triple H as we got into this. So you guys, he's putting himself out there to try to make WrestleMania even bigger and better than it's been in the past, with more acts, more things, more to come in the entertainment industry to be revealed. Of course, knowing the falling out that's taken place with his father-in-law, former chairman of this and COO at one point in time, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the stuff that's come on, the allegations, we have to say they're alleged allegations, the alleged allegations that have come on against him, because we don't know how much is true and how much is not. But with the fallout there with TKO and Endeavor buying the company and definitely mixing it up and knowing what's going on there, it's definitely good to see some fresh eyes on the product. He has to do a little bit better job of development in the years to come. This is my personal opinion. It doesn't matter for anything. So you guys can agree or disagree or whatever, but a little bit of development. They can't run with the same WWE crap that if you came from another company, we're going to bury you. So, and that's been proven with Cody Rhodes. They tried and tried and tried, and the kid just kept coming back and coming back and coming back, and he was writing his own checks and making his own things because he's a superstar inside the industry, and they knew how much they would lose. See, they've kind of buried AJ Styles to a point, and AJ, I'm sorry, man, if you're listening to this, I'm just going to be honest with you. I got to be a little bit brutally honest with you. I think you call your own shots, but I think the company's creative has buried you to a certain point because you weren't homegrown for them, and I think that they're really mishandling you and mishandling the ball on your bookings on how you want to be portrayed as a wrestler inside the ring. I think that it's good that they've kind of got you with that WrestleMania match with LA Knight, and they had you kind of put that feud at a head and at a front. But man, I really think during your regular bookings for Raw and for SmackDown and for everything else that you do for the company, main event stuff that you do and the NXT stuff that you've done, I think they're just dropping the ball with you, buddy. And there's several superstars that it's like that it's taken them a long time to turn that page and come around and be that superstar that they're supposed to be. And then some of it's a waiting game. You have to wait on other people to walk out of the company. You have to wait on some people to come back into the company. And I understand it. I get that from that point of view and that standpoint that's going on directly with you guys. But at the same aspect, you have to look at it from the point of view and aspect that I'm seeing it from as well. The biggest change that needs to be made is you can't bury your talent. You got to write for them. You got to write creatively for them. You got to get them involved. You have to make them. Now, I'm not saying everybody is a top superstar. I don't want you to think that. I don't want everybody to think that, because there are tiers of stuff. There are levels of stuff. But you don't have to stay where you're at. You don't have to be a mid-carder your whole career. Cody Rhodes is a perfect example of that. Now, he had to leave WWE because the creative that was in WWE couldn't see him being that guy until he proved them all wrong. He had to go somewhere else and prove them all wrong that he could be that guy. Not only be that guy, but he could beat that guy inside the ring to become that man. And, Ric Flair used to say you have to beat the man to be the man. Well, Cody Rhodes did that and then some. He beat everybody in the business. He beat everybody to a pulp in the business, took his rightful place as king of the mountain currently, and he's still king of the mountain as he holds that brand new Universal Championship. I heard an article say that he was going to do everything that he was in his power to bring back the old winged eagle as to give it an homage to his dad, of the WWE days and the WWF days. I would like to see that personally. That's a personal thing that I would like to see. Now, many of you may disagree with me on this, but I think that the Universal title that they've got now isn't classy. And that's just my personal opinion on it. Now, it's jeweled, it's nice, it looks pretty, it looks aesthetically pretty, but it's not classy. It doesn't bring prestige and honor back to that division. I think that going back to the old Intercontinental Championship, the one that the Warriors had, the white one, the yellow one, that little pink one, the magenta one that he had, stuff like that was classy back in the day, and it meant something. Those titles meant something. If you held those titles, you had the fan base, and you had them by basically the balls, pardon my language, but you did. You had them by everything that they needed in order to run that thing properly and to go and to make sure that you were running smoothly to that perfection fact. So, as we move forward here, as we are moving forward here, currently, I want to say, to a T, that I think that WWE is just got to do a better job of not burying their talent, number one. Number two, they have to rely on the talent that they have to get them through what's been going on outside in the outside world. Now, I think that in the midst of COVID, everything coming back the way it was, where they were just in the Thunderdome and they were doing nothing, to now, the way it is now, my Lord have mercy, they have made leaps and bounds and changes that have been great for the company over the years. So now we've just got to get to a point to where those leaps and bounds and changes are staying, and they're going to be aesthetically staying for the next couple of years. They're going to be a mainstay on the stage and the front there. So a couple people that have some honorable mentions that I think should absolutely get that spotlight is Braun Breaker, man. Let's talk about it. Braun Breaker, that's a tongue twister when you're on the radio live. Braun Breaker is not getting the push I think that he absolutely deserves because of the toolage that he was under and the people in his life, the family members that we supposedly can't name on the radio under WWE because of what's taken place there with their family members. But I think that he deserves the break. He deserves to get that title shot. He deserves to be in that picture of a main contender if they can keep him, going. I don't know how you guys feel about Grayson Waller. I really am not a huge fan of Grayson Waller, but I think that he shows moments of stardom where he could be the guy, where he is the guy and could be the guy for the distant future. Of course, Austin Theory, they've pushed Austin Theory. They pushed him and pushed him and pushed him and pushed him and pushed him until they just about pushed him over a cliff. And he doesn't connect with the fans as well as what people think that he should. And I have to agree with him. I think that he has the ability inside the ring, the wrestling ability to be somebody, but he just can't get it together. He just does not connect with the crowd currently. It's going to take him a couple of years to do some character development and to build himself up and to move himself to where he needs to be in order to get that out of where he wants to go. So that's something else that you have to look at, guys, too, is whenever they start their talent and their character development, they've pushed some people a little bit too quick, in the homegrown section from NXT and from other arenas, but they're not giving them the opportunities to shine like they need to. And there's some people that need the extra development. And I hate to say this. I absolutely 100% hate to say this and to make this analogy, but you have to make this analogy. So do you guys remember David Flair from WCW? I mean, you have to think about this, okay? So in WCW, he had no idea. He was a scared little kitty cat running around the ring, didn't know what the heck he was doing, how he was doing it, and he was getting put in matches, big matches with people because of the stroke of his dad, basically, and the booking power that his dad had to get him over, and he was just not connecting with the crowd. Well, it translated when they moved him over to WWE, man. I think the biggest feud I think I can remember in my mind was the Undertaker thing with Ric Flair, and they brought David in as a side hustle on that, and David just got demolished. He didn't do well in WWE at all. He didn't do well inside the business at all. And I don't think that that's because he didn't want to succeed and he didn't want to be that person. He had his 5 minutes of fame in the sun, but to bring it back to where we're at now is you've got some people that have the same ability, have the same talent, have the same fortitude that David Flair had, but they're definitely don't need to be where they belong inside the business. And that's just all over the business. It's not just WWE, that's other places, but we're talking about WWE specifically right now. So in light of WrestleMania, in light of the stuff that we've seen, in light of the stuff that's gone on, is there anything you guys, the fans, would definitely want to see going into the future? I told you I want to see Cody Rhodes change that title. I want him to bring back the prestige of the World Championship and bring back the Winged Eagle and make it new again. Make that WWE that championship classy again. Make the Universal Championship classy again. Make it mean something again. I think that that's the biggest thing is we got to a point with Roman Reigns and with the bloodline that it had played itself completely out. and they had to do something. But WWE did something really great in that Cody Rhodes match. See, Roman Reigns probably could have won that match. I have to say this, since we're going into this little section of it. Roman Reigns probably could have won that match, right? He really could have at the end, but instead he did some long-term storytelling. So if you guys don't remember, if you don't remember the days of the Shield, there was a time when a certain member of the Shield, aka Rollins, decided to change on the Shield and turn it up on them, and to trade his Shield powers in to become that next big thing. And he decided to destroy Roman Reigns in the ring with a chair. Well, Roman Reigns gave him that back. I told you in one of the previous episodes that we did, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be a year from now, it may not be 5 years from now, but somebody somewhere is going to give you a receipt for what you've done inside the wrestling business. It is just going to happen, guys. It's one of those things that is just going to happen 100%. No questions asked. It's going to happen. It's going to be there. You're going to have to deal with it. That's just the way it is, right? So for us to know and move on and be successful with this time period, this time stamp that they had, they brought it all the way back to when he changed up on him, and when Seth Rollins beat the crap out of him to become that architect, as they call him, the revolutionary, as they call him. But I'm telling you right now, that was great long-term storytelling by WWE. It did pan out. That receipt was cashed in, and Roman Reigns beat the crap out of him with that chair. And I think everybody and their mama was really on their edge, on the edge of their seat to see that actually happen. I mean, it was just something that was, it cost him the match overall. I have to say that. It did cost him match, cost the Bloodline the match, cost them that Universal Championship. But like I told you, I think they played all the storyline that they could play out of the Bloodline, and they've got to move into a different faction if they're going to move into the next stratosphere of the world of wrestling. So we started out on some stuff today. I think that we've got to kind of circle back a little bit to the Triple H thing, talking about where he wants to see it in 5 years, right? So if you're really wanting to see wrestling move into the stratosphere in 5 years, you have to get the atmosphere back to where it was kind of in the 80s. And what I mean by that is you got to let wrestling be wrestling again, and it's got to be real. You can't let the cat out of the bag for every episode that you do and then expect your fans to connect with it 100%. That's just how it's going to have to be. You're going to have to go back to like it was. Like, I hate to even mention this. I know that Roddy Piper and Vince McMahon Jr. had their problems, and Roddy Piper went on the Howard Stern show. I think it was early 2000, and he was talking about how he wrote a book is what happened. He wrote a book. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys are out there, but I remember he wrote this book, and on the Howard Stern show, he said that he sent Vince McMahon a copy of the book and told him that he would help him get back on track with the wrestling business if he wanted to get back on track with the wrestling business, because he was the icon. I mean, he was the original icon in professional wrestling at that point in time. He was the name. He was a booker. He had everything down, but he was a big bad man inside of wrestling. Roddy Piper was it. Roddy Piper, if you don't know who I'm talking about. But I remember him specifically saying that he sent Vince McMahon Jr. a book and told him, hey, if you want to get back to wrestling, to the way wrestling was, so we can make it the way it needs to be, I'm with you. I'll do that. And it was right before the whole sports entertainment era started. It was right as they were coming out of the Attitude Era. It was in the thousands. I want to say it was around 2005, 2006. It may be before that. It might be in 2002, 2003. But it was somewhere right around that area that he was on that show. And they were going into the sports entertainment PG area. And he told him, he said, look, you're going to gain fans by going into PG, but it's not going to be like it was. He said, you're still going to have your faithful, your loyal that are going to be loyal to your product, but you've got to have wrestling be wrestling again. You can't be letting the cat out of the bag every time and then expect wrestling to just move on, because it's just not going to work that way. And he's absolutely right, 100% right. You just can't let wrestling run out that way and then expect it just to be different, because it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen for you. It's not going to happen for me. It's not going to happen for nobody. So you got to keep wrestling real. And I think that's where the 5-year plan has to go. If you are wanting to move into the wrestling business and stay in the wrestling business, it's got to be 100% real for you guys at a certain point. And the thing that really kills me about it is if you don't keep wrestling real, if you don't keep it real, you don't keep it going on, and you don't keep it fresh inside the hearts and minds of your loyal fan base, it becomes stagnant. And when wrestling becomes stagnant, it changes. Everything changes on the forefront and the circle of what's going on. Some of these smaller promotions are doing some really great stuff inside the world of wrestling currently. I mean, you have all sorts of little promotions that are popping up everywhere, and they're bringing in big names, big name people, because they're trying to compete with these other titans of industry that are out there. You know, the TNT product, the USA product, they're trying to compete with the CW product. You know what I mean? So I'm trying not to crap on anybody too much, but I'm telling you specifically, they're trying to compete with these products and trying to get the best possible show set out that they can have for everybody that's going out there. And I think that Triple H is absolutely right on the front, trying to make sure that everything stays fresh and move forward. But he has to go back to the way wrestling was in a certain aspect. So there's a lot of stuff that's missing. I know that you've heard me talk about it before. There's a lot of stuff that's missing from professional wrestling today. A lot of stuff that is missing from professional wrestling today that needs to come back. The first and foremost thing is, you know, we need managers again. We need real managers again. We need a Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart. We need a Bobby the Brain Heenan. We need freaking Paul Heyman's. We need real managers, Precious Pauls. We need real managers to come out, Mr. Fuji's. We need real managers to come back into the wrestling business and be managers. We need those Diamond Dallas Page style managers. We need those people to come out and be inside the wrestling business again, and to get people involved and to get people happy about coming and seeing wrestling again. That's first and foremost. That should be on the page for everybody. I mean, the way it sits now is all these wrestlers are independent. Nobody's got a manager. Nobody's got them to help them put them over and to help them keep them on top of the game and to help them do stuff. So you have to get back to what made wrestling real once again. So if you got a character and you know he's the biggest and the baddest and the best that's ever been and ever will be, probably, you need to make sure that everybody knows that. And one of the ways that you do that is by promoting them that way. Of course, they've done a good job by doing video promotions and doing different other promotions with their talent currently. But I'm telling you, they've got to get back to what made wrestling popular to begin with. You want to know why wrestling boomed as big as it did in the 80s? You really want to know? It's because it was believable. You have to make wrestling believable again, guys. So, and I think they're on the right road. I mean, they sold out freaking Philadelphia, for crying out loud. The whole place was sold out. WrestleMania was completely sold out. And it wasn't just the WrestleMania experience or the WrestleMania event that people were buying. It was the fact that they might see the story get finished. They were interested in the storyline. 3 years coming, almost 4 years coming in the making with Cody Rhodes. They wanted to see it happen finally, and it absolutely did. But you know what? He has one more title to gain inside this company before he can say that he's the best all time. And that's the one that Damian Priest currently has. He's got to get that title, and he's got to get it around his waist sooner than later, and he's got to be the man with that title. So that's my take on the 5-year plan thing, the discussion. We wasted a lot of time on that. It's me rambling on today. But we're going to get into some other stuff here. Damian Priest feared that he'd be released by WWE, explains his secret to the Judgment Day success. That's done by Nick Miller, April 9th, 2024 on WrestlingIncorporated.com. You can catch that halfway down. It has him cashing in his money in the bank for the picture that's being shown there. It says Sunday night at WWE's WrestleMania 40, Damian Priest of the Judgment Day finally made his move, cashing in the Money in the Bank contract on Drew McIntyre to win the World Heavyweight Championship. McIntyre had just defeated Seth Rollins for the title minutes earlier, and Priest also benefited from the timely attack on McIntyre by CM Punk following WrestleMania. Priest spoke at the post-show press conference and was asked to reflect on his past few years and his career leading to the title win. He says, quote, 2 years ago when we formed the Judgment Day, there was kind of an idea using the talent that could possibly be main eventers or have been main eventers, but they're just floating, Priest said, and then it took off in a different direction. And I'll be honest, there was a moment that I wasn't sure it was going to work. I thought I was done. I thought the industry had totally threw me away. Though Priest feared a possible release from WWE over time, the group began clicking and started to click on screen. The World Heavyweight Champion said that he could be attributed to each individual member of the lineup bringing something unique to the table. All of our differences make something special, Priest continued. and all of us bring out the best in each other, he continued to say. Priest continued discussing his slow but steady career ascent over the last several years that included a match at WWE Backlash last year in Puerto Rico, his successful undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship defense alongside Finn Balor at WWE Elimination Chamber Perth, and finally his Money in the Bank cash in at WWE WrestleMania 40. During Sunday's press conference, WWE star also reflected further back on his journey, with Priest revealing that he was homeless about 10 years ago after fighting tooth and nail to earn his place in WWE. Priest hopes his story can inspire others who are struggling. Congratulations, first and foremost, to you. I think that we went on that just a little bit earlier talking about this, but I didn't know that you were homeless about 10 years ago. That's something that is news to me. So to see that you fought your way out and that you've made your way out of the streets and you've made your way out and made something of yourself, you know, shows that there's hope for humanity after all, including those of you that are listening that might not have a place to go. The wrestling business always has a place for you somewhere. You just have to work hard. You know, Hulk Hogan used to say your prayers and eat your vitamins. Well, you know, sometimes the power of prayer does work. I do have to admit that. And sometimes it has to do with your hard work and your work ethic. You have to take your vitamins, grit your teeth, move on, and do the best you can every day. And eventually somebody will see something in you that nobody else saw. I know you've heard me speak about it before, but Diamond Dallas Page has went on video several times talking about Dusty Rhodes, how Dusty Rhodes saw something in him that nobody else saw when he saw it. And he said, you know, there was a point in time in his career where he was in the ring and he was wrestling and he was doing some stuff. And, he said he wasn't really feeling like WCW was going to give him the push or needed to give him the push that was possible for him to make it where he wanted to go. He wanted to be the world heavyweight champion. And he said he called Dusty up and he said, Dusty, he said, I know I'm not you and I'm not Austin and I'm not this one and I'm not that one, but I don't think that they'll ever see me like that. And he said that Dusty Rhodes slapped him, you know, gave him some words and slapped him right in the face with them. He said, Dallas, what are you talking about? If you're not in this business to be the world heavyweight champion, to be the best that you can be, why are you in this business? You need to get out of this business right now. And he said it hit him like a ton of bricks, slapped him right on the face, guys. And, you know, that's so true. If you're not in the business to be the best, then it's going to slap you on your face. And so there comes a point where the rubber's got to meet the road for you in your wrestling career, whether it's talking, announcing, doing a podcast, doing something. There's a rubber meets the road moment for you guys, and you guys have to figure out where it's at and what you've got to do to stay on top of that mountain and finish that. You know, and here's the fun part of this, right? So we're going to talk about it. So when that rubber meets the road, there's fight or flight. And that's it. You can either fight or you can flight. And a lot of people will flight because it's a lot easier to not face your problems head on and go through it. So Damian Priest, you faced something that was extreme, absolutely 100% extreme. And you took it for what it was worth and you changed it. And you made a change in your life that changed it for you. So for that, sir, I absolutely have to say, congratulations on your title win. It's a long place from where you were 10 years ago, and I hope you have very many more years of success. Even if you decide to leave the WWE and go somewhere else, I want you to have very good success inside this industry wherever you decide to go. You have proven that you're a valuable asset to the company, that you're a valuable asset in wrestling, and I think, me personally, I'm not a huge Judgment Day fan, but I'll tell you this. The stuff you guys did with R-Truth while he was trying to figure out if he was a member or not was priceless. So, you know, you guys in creative are doing some really good stuff together with this. All right, let's get back to the news, guys. Let's get back here. Let's see what else is on the table today. All right, Art Anderson thought this WWE Hall of Famer would die before becoming a star. And that's done by Eric Muter as well, April 9th, 2024 at 6:30 a.m. So it was written earlier this morning. It says, long before Mick Foley was falling off Hell in a Cell and winning in the WWE, champion and winning the WWE Championship from The Rock. He was wrestling as Cactus Jack in WCW, having high-profile matches against some of the likes of Sting and Vader. Even then, Foley, known for his high-risk, flying style and terrifying bumps, something Arn Anderson got to see up close and personal, said Foley's WCW days came up on the list of an episode of Arn with Arn Anderson, was asked which wrestler he surprised to see become a star, with Arn giving Foley as his answer. The reason for that wasn't because Anderson thought Foley was untalented. Rather, it was because he thought Foley's high-risk flying would ultimately cut Foley's career short. I thought he'd be dead before he had a chance to get over, to be honest with you. Anderson said, every night after I saw him the first time do that act off of the apron, landing on the cement floor, I would try and go and watch his matches because I was so afraid for him. I thought any night they're gonna have a stretcher for this guy out there and put him in an ambulance, and we're not gonna see him again. He hung in there, that tough bastard, so to speak. You can't kill him, you can't cripple him. The man, he limps around, but he managed to get his SHIT together to come match time and get it done. And my hat's off to him. One of the bumps he'd taken, just one of the big ones, would have killed a normal guy. And he's speaking about Hell in a Cell is what he's talking about, that big bump at Hell in a Cell. And he's absolutely right. He probably would have killed somebody else to take that bump and to do that for him. And we've got to talk about the hardcore legend, the champion, the people's champion, the real people's champion, Mick Foley, there for a minute. So let's throw him in here. So, I've heard Mick talk about there's two parts of his career, post-career and post Hell in a Cell and pre Hell in a Cell. Let me correct myself here. And I think that he viewed his career totally differently after then. His career skyrocketed after that Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker. But I think it took some of the feud that was going on in WWE. I don't think creative saw him as he saw himself, but they gave him the freedom to find himself and find his moment and find what he needed to do. And that Hell in a Cell moment changed his career 100%. Granted, 100%. Now, I know Mick Foley has fallen on some rough times as far as his health goes. I think that he had a concussion here recently, and I think that he was calling for his final match, but I think he's postponed that final match due to the concussion that took place. So Mick Foley, we wish you well here on Wrestle Talk, and we hope that you have a speedy recovery from that, and we definitely want to see you in one last match one more time. I don't know if it needs to be a hardcore match or what type of a match it needs to be, but we definitely would love to see you guys come through and finish that. Finish your side of the story on that side. Mick, you definitely got the hearts and minds captive here. And I know that we've been hard on WWE for this section. So we are currently trying to make sure that you guys are getting the best news possible. And the reason that we're doing this is because WWE just had the biggest event of the year with WrestleMania. I mean, the biggest event of the year that's been coming out. And I know that Mick Foley has some WrestleMania moments of his own that he definitely would love to talk about. However, he's not come out and talked about all of them. So now let's move on to some other things that's going on with WWE. Vince McMahon now owns less than 5% of its parent, WWE's parent company, TKO, after his latest stock sale. Dude, he's sold so much stock here recently that it's been crazy. It's by Ishtin J. Ram, and it's April 9th, 2024 is when it was done. It was done at 4:32 a.m. So it was written bright and early this morning. It says, former WWE CEO Vince McMahon has further reduced his stake in TKO's WWE parent company after selling more stock once again. As per the latest SEC filings, McMahon is selling shares worth $300 million of TKO and Endeavor, $165 million worth of stock to the former, and $146.2 million worth of stock to the latter. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics has estimated that McMahon is now just owns about 4.7% of TKO, and notes that McMahon just over 8 million shares of the newly formed entity following his latest sell. McMahon has sold TKO stock multiple times since last year, including 2 sales last month. In the first half of March, the former WWE CEO sold stocks valued at over $400 million, and later that month sold an additional $100 million worth of TKO stocks. McMahon's first stock sale of TKO was November 2023, merely 2 months ago after the company's formation. As he divested, I guess you can say, he divested 30% of his stake in the company for $700 million. McMahon has ranked a whopping $1.5 billion from the TKO stock sales so far. All reports suggest that there is no way back to the WWE for McMahon, as the promotion is distancing itself from the disgraced former CEO following sexual misconduct and sexual trafficking allegations. This past weekend's WrestleMania 40, which was a huge success for the promotion, did not have McMahon's hands on it, leaving those in WWE relieved that he is no longer behind the scenes in the company. McMahon's WWE and John Laurinaitis have been served by Janelle Grant, who accused McMahon of sexual misconduct, and they have to respond to it by May. So there's got to be something that's going to be coming out by May for them. Now, they served them 2 big lawsuits. Now, we did go over that in Wrestle Talk on one of our last adventures. Now, we have to say allegedly, so we don't know all the allegations are true. We don't know if any of it is true, really, to be honest with you. And we're still finding out stuff daily. So there's stuff that's coming out on both sides of this, stuff that's been allocated for both section of it to come through. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's putting yourself between a rock and a hard spot. So if you choose a side, you have to be willing to die on that hill, and I'm not willing to do that. Do I think that he deserves a spot? Yes, I do. I think he deserves a spot in wrestling history. I think that he has enough money to start his own promotion and to actually rival WWE if he wanted to. He could start his own promotion up and rival it now with the money that he's made just off the TKO sale. He could have enough money to go around the world 25, 35 billion times at this point and still be able to sell out everywhere that he needs to sell out and do whatever he needs to do. It's just a matter of if the talent will come and be a part of that show, and if he can put them on his back and do it all over again. He's got to start from scratch at this time if he wants to do it. I don't think he will. I think he's getting to the point in age that he realizes that the wrestling business is a young man's business and he's old and he needs to do something else. He needs to move on with his life. He needs to get some other stuff going. But I think it's really hard for him to disassociate from that, with it being a big part of his life since before he went to Coastal Carolina University. So that's really where we're coming from. So you got 20 plus years inside the wrestling business, right? Those 20 plus years that are inside the wrestling business that he's got. Sorry, guys, my mom just wrote me. Those 20 plus years that he had inside the wrestling business before any of this was even talked about or any of this has gone on. And then you got to think that the post life of this span that he's had, after his dad died, he was a part of wrestling from the time that he was a child. So his dad being on the board of directors of the original NWA, the AWA, the WWF, and the WWF after it was formed. And his dad set him up for success, set him up to do the right things inside the business. Now, it was up to him to do them. I do think that he went there. He had some moments of promiscuity there that we are still talking about to this day that's been going on with him. But I do think that he's had the moments in time that he could make a huge difference in time and leap forward with different things. So him starting a company today, I think it would be hard for him. But I mean, my God, it's you're talking about a $12,000 investment for a ring, $12,000. And then if he wants to do old school gorilla curtains, maybe $4,000 or $5,000. If he wants to put mats on the floor, maybe $12,000. He just made $700 million. It's not like that's a drop of the hat for him if he wanted to do it. I don't think he would, especially with the allegations that are coming forward. I think that they would, he's taking some time to pay his legal fees. They know he's got the money. They know he's a rich man. They know that he's on top of everything. So they're making it harder for him whenever it's going forward. So, with that being said, I think that you have to gather your thoughts and you have to think about it logically. I think that he's just trying to prepare for the future. He's trying to prepare for his kids, and he's trying to prepare for the event that WWE is going to fail under the new leadership with Endeavor and TKO not being a sports entertainment conglomerate, but being more of a sports conglomerate together. And I'm not saying that they will. I'm just saying that I believe in his mind, he believes that they're going to fail without him at the helm, and that that WWE is not going to do any good. And you see how this kind of turned around all in one episode. So Triple H has that 5-year plan where he sees the company going, where he wants the company going, where he has directed the company to go directly. But you're looking at the other side of it where Vince McMahon, I believe, is saying, hey, in 5 years, I think that they're going to go under, and we're going to have to do something in that just in case moment they go under. That way we are prepared for them. So I think that right there is the biggest thing to me, the biggest marker to me for what's going to be happening for the future, especially with him selling all the stock. I don't know if he's planning on reinvesting and rebuying the company for pennies on the dollar or what he's trying to do. I don't know that it will make a big difference, but it may make a big difference in how he's viewed and how the wrestling business is viewed. Now, I can be talking completely out of my butt, and I very well may be, but I think that that's what's going on. I think that he's planning on TKO and Endeavor failing the WWE and the WWE going under because it is a money machine. It's I said it on another episode and I'll say it here. I think that WWE has moved in the direction that WCW was moving right before it closed, a couple years before it closed. And I really believe that with all my heart. I think they're spending way too much money on stuff that they shouldn't even be spending money on, first and foremost. And then secondly, paying people ridiculous amounts of money for stuff that they shouldn't be paying them for. But, that's just me. That's my personal opinion. It don't matter for anything. So you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. So I think that that's the biggest thing that's going on with him is I think that it's that and legal fees. He's trying to keep up with his legal fee. He's trying to make sure that he's got his legal fees taken care of definitely after that. Triple H comments on his own WWE deal to have Prime logo on the ring mat, potential fan backlash. So, okay, I understand that in sports entertainment, in sports in general, including the New York Yankees, other conglomerates in general, they've started putting Major League Baseball in as a definite done it. Basketball has started putting sponsors on everything because these people are paying. But, I mean, if you're going to put anything on the ring, don't you think it should be a company that was invested in wrestling from the get-go? Let's be real. Now, I'm being honest with you. If you're going to do it, why not go with Slim Jim? This is a good question, and I'll tell you exactly what's happened. Is remember when Randy Savage moved over to WCW? He brought Slim Jim with him and brought them in as a sponsor to the show for them. But if you're going to do it, bring Slim Jim back and put them on the ring. What are you thinking, Prime? I don't care who pays the most money. Wrestling fans want to see stuff that's been around wrestling forever. Slim Jim is the thing that you wanted to put on that mat, man. So he's going to receive some backlash. It's Dan Warner Anchorage here is the one that wrote this. It's April 9th. He wrote it at 12:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It says, Paul Triple H Levesque has discussed how the deal with Prime Hydration signals WWE shifted in direction under a new regime, while also addressing the potential backlash that it may receive from its fans. Levesque spoke to Logan Paul, who co-owns the brand, about the partnership on the Impulsive podcast, and the WWE CEO or CCO, explained why they may have been apprehensive in the past. Well, let's pause right there for just a second. So the reason that they were apprehensive in the past is because of what Randy Savage did. He had that huge sponsor with Slim Jim. They were getting commercial time. They were getting playtime. They were getting all sorts of stuff from that, and it was bringing fans into them. And when he decided to switch over because they weren't going to give him the same money that they were going to give Hogan, and they weren't going to give him the same money that they were going to give in some other stars who were absolutely as big, Roddy Piper and some other ones, he decided he was going to change over, and the sponsorship moved with him. And so they were apprehensive on that because what happens if you leave the company? Does a sponsorship go with you? That's something else that you guys got to look at whenever we start talking about this stuff. So let's get right back into it here. So it says, we've done little things here and there with logos. WCW did some a long time ago with logos. You've seen them in boxing. It's tough in what we do, said the game. Levesque noted Mat advertisements could be a safety hazard as they could create a slippery surface. However, he said this type of advertising would be the path forward for the company. It's different. It's different shift of philosophy. This is not the WWE that it was before, claimed the WWE CCO. This is WWE under TKO, and how they look at it and how they sell things is different. So that center mat logo is obviously sort of like holy ground in a way. And the fact that your Logan Paul is who he's talking about, here in such a big star and yet are also your own company, your Prime brand is taking that real estate up. That's massive feather in your cap, dude. That's a massive feather in your cap, dude. And he's absolutely right. It is. Triple H believes that there will be some resistance in the change form of WWE fans, but feels that it will eventually get used to seeing the logo in the middle of the ring. The deal with the WWE, which began at WrestleMania 40, saw the logo being advertised on the mat and the turnbuckle, while there was also Prime Hydration Station next to the commentary desk. Prime had previously signed a 3-year deal with UFC to become the official global sports drink in January 2023, resulting in a popular beverage being advertised on the Octagon mat. And you can use any quotes from this that you see. If you use any quotes from the article, it has to be credited to Impulsive with H/T Wrestling Incorporated for the transcription. So we're definitely using this as that, and we're giving you the credit for it. So it was written right there on WrestlingIncorporated.com. Dane Wanna Anchorage is the one who wrote it. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I probably just screwed that up. It's WANNIA RACHIGE. So that's who wrote that article right there, guys. I apologize for screwing your name up, but I think that's going to cut us for time today. We're cutting it a little close. We're not quite an hour. We're actually just a little bit under. So I want to thank you guys and remind you guys that Wrestle Talk is brought to you 100% by viewers like you. If you like what you hear and you like everything that's coming through Wrestle Talk, you can support the channel in 2 ways. The first way is going to www.streamlabs.com/a rabid beaver. That's ARABBID, the number 3 AVER. /merch and buy some Wrestle Talk merch. Get you guys a hoodie, get you guys a t-shirt, get you guys something, a water bottle. I also have my other social media platform merch on there, the Camel Toe Adventures. If you guys follow me on TikTok, the Nerdy Gaming with a Rabid Beaver, the Rabid Beaver Gaming stuff is on there as well. So you guys can find all that merchandise right there. The second way is to tip directly through Streamlabs. That's www.streamlabs.com/rabidbeaver. That's ARABBID, the number 3 AVER, /home. And you can tip directly on the homepage on the right-hand side whenever it pops up for you. And those are the best 2 ways to do that. That's how we keep our lights on here. That's how we keep these great broadcasts coming to you. It's also how we pay for our time. And we are currently not sponsored by anybody, but we would love to be. If you guys have a product out there that you guys would love to get on the air with us and you guys are following this podcast, we'd love to be able to sponsor for you guys as well. So we're advertising for that as well. Love to be able to do that. That way we can make a little bit of extra income while we're doing this for you guys specifically. So first and foremost, thank you Wrestling Incorporated for letting us read your articles and put them on the air and quote your articles as we do every day that we bring this podcast for you, this broadcast for you. And thank you for letting us speak freely and speak our mind freely. For those of you that listen to this podcast, thank you guys so much. You guys are the reason that we are here each and every day, each and every one of you who do that. And remember, you can catch the Nerdy Gaming with a Rabid Beaver channel. That's Nerdy Gaming with a Rabid Beav, BEAV, and then 3AV 132 at yahoo.com is how you find me there if you guys are interested in the gaming stuff. Camel Toe Adventures on TikTok, of course. I've already mentioned that. And Wrestle Talk with the Rabid Beaver if you guys are catching this on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audible, Podbean, Buzzsprout, wherever you guys are finding this at. Thank you guys so much, very much, each and every time that you download this, each and every time that you listen to it. It means the world to me. I get tickled just to see that I've got 1 subscriber, 2 subscribers, 20 subscribers, however many subscribers come in. It really makes my day. You could spend your hour, you could spend your day doing something totally different, but you're here listening to me. So thank you guys very much for that. And I want to leave you with this thought. You guys are listening to Wrestle Talk right here on the Rabid Beaver channel. And I hope to see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Y'all be safe. And goodbye.